Well, everybody, I'm coming solo tonight. It's 26th. We probably haven't seen you going on, what, a good almost 2 weeks, something like that. Uh, of course, tonight here in the county that I live in, they're going to have us at midnight. They're going to start disallowing people just to be venturing around. If you're going to a store, if you're going to a doctor's office, if you're going to a pharmacy, if you're going to get gas, anything like that, that's okay. But there are fines that can be levied, and you can also get a certain jail sentence if you're just out and about. Um, some other places are being much more strict, if that's the word that you want to use. In Los Angeles County, for instance, they're talking about um, any businesses that are non-essential, that are not complying with Los Angeles County's strict codes of shutting down, that they will cut the power and the water to those areas. So those small businesses that'll be trying to stay open to make some extra money for their employees and for themselves, they have already been told, if we come around and we see that you guys are open, then we're going to shut everything down. So different parts of the country, taking in different areas. We do know that since the last time we talked, this has gotten a lot bigger. Um, like I said, I'm in my man cave here at the house. We've been quarantined all these days, just chilling out. I'm teaching online. My wife's having to teach online, so she teaches at the same part of the day as I do, and then I have to go into another room with my computer. Then we have our three boys, and they're all either trying to play Fortnite or Call of Duty or NBA 2K or whatever. And of course, we have to tell them, because of the bandwidth and stuff, that they have to go ahead and knock it off for a little bit. Most of us teachers in the districts around here were wondering about what would happen if everybody was online at once. Would all the different internet companies crash? That has not happened. My internet did go down for a little bit yesterday. I had to let my principal know that I was offline, but I could do everything remotely, also on my phone. So I had to download the app for what we were doing. As you notice, I haven't really shaved. Um, it's one of those things, guys. We're just taking it day by day, and they said that this week, our Governor Abbott said that it would be worse this week than last week. I know that we're in double digits here in Oasis County, down by Corpus Christi, Texas. The problem is we won't know how many positives there are due to the fact that there hasn't many tests given. They're telling you, if you have a dry cough and you have a fever, you're to call your doctor. The doctor can then give you basically a written note stating, yeah, you can go ahead and go down to the drive-through area where they'll swab you, and then they'll get back to you and stuff. But we found out that some of the people that have tested positive in our county are not from our area. They've come down from Houston or San Antonio due to the fact that maybe they couldn't get in there or something. So they're kind of like just driving through, and I don't even know if they have like doctor's appointments or anything. I only have like the little light up here, so if anything looks discolored, I don't know what you'll be seeing and stuff. But like I said, this is the man cave. If you could see the whole thing, I mean, you see behind me. Let's see Larry up there, hanging on and then there's a bunch more above me, and then way back. Let's see over here. I'm not good with this. Those are all the Bayball trophies and trophies from across the state that the Rockport Celtics, my team, won. You see all the green in the background. That's all Celtic stuff. If you saw the entire room, you'd sit there and say, you are really a fanatic about the Boston Celtics, which I am. But of course, I have, I don't know if you can see it, but Jake, and then, I've got other pictures of my other boys and stuff, and just stuff laying around, So, yeah, I'm not trying to waste your time or anything. I just want to let you know that Gabriel does have a job that's considered essential, and so therefore he's still having to go to work every single day. And due to the recommendations about not traveling and not going here and there and trying to stay inside the house and stuff, we're going to try to set something up remote so we can go ahead and do a webcam podcast where we'll record it and then we'll put it up, and he'll be at his home and I'll be at I'll be here at the Man Cave, and we'll try to get that out to you. So it's not like I'm trying to go solo. I just want to give you an update about what's going on. He's still busy, and by the time I get off of work here at the house and he gets off of work, we can't really meet anymore. I mean, after tonight and stuff, police officers will pull over if we were sitting somewhere. You can't go in anywhere. All the restaurants are closed and you have to go through the drive-through and stuff. So I've never gone through anything like this. I just went up to the convenience store to get a drink a second ago, and they now have the big plastic plexiglass up in front of the people that work there, and the people that work there have gloves on. Never seen anything like this. I'm not real old, but I'm old enough to know that I've never seen anything like this. The economy was crashing. It's made somewhat of a comeback now. It's up to, I think, 22,000, and it had gone down like 3 or 4 straight days. It really shook everybody. But we're not going to get into a whole bunch of the coronavirus because we're all going through that right now and stuff. The only thing that I want to do is that unfortunately today we did pass China and Italy for the most cases. So on the 26th of March, we now officially stand at just over 85,000 cases, and we have about 1,300 deaths, unfortunately. So, we've heard different things here and there about younger people possibly getting ill when they didn't think they would, and they think that the strain that we have here is a little bit different than the one that originated in China. So, but I'm going to go ahead and get off all that, just due to the fact that we're dealing with this every single day, and be smart, and wash your hands, and don't go out if you don't have to. And I want everybody, even if I'll never meet you, to be healthy and happy and alive when this is all over, and that we'll look back on this and say, it could happen at any time, but we're going to be prepared. We'll do better next time, and we won't take things for granted. And there's friends of mine that I've reached out to that we've always been friends, but you don't see them as much as you used to when you're younger because jobs and families and stuff like that. And I've told them all, I said, when this is over, we all need to meet up. We need to go get a big pizza, go to the movies, go hang out. We need to do things like that because as we get older, we distance ourselves a little bit more because of life, and then something like this happens, and you realize that life goes by very fast, and you've got to go ahead and take your time to go ahead and enjoy it, and smell the flowers and all the stuff like Ferris Bueller said. So anyways, so what I thought I would do today or tonight for you guys is I will tell you one of the fascinating true stories. This is in the first book that I wrote, How the Ball Bounces. You can get that on Amazon. You can get that on Barnes & Noble. I still have several copies if you want one personally signed. If you can get it as an ebook for like $4 or $5, I think, which is a pretty good deal. And it's got a lot of interesting stories and characters in it, and it's 100% true. And book 2 is How the Ball Bounced, and that tells the rest of the story. And I think you can only get that on Amazon now. And I also have copies that I can sign for you personally if you know me and I'm close enough to you that after all this is over, I can get you a copy. But if you have to read them, which I hope that you do, is that you can go to Amazon and type in Eric DeWolf, and those 2 books should pop up. And like I said, if you aren't really into a book, you just want to be able to read something real fast, you can download it to your phone or tablet or anything. So a little bit of self-promotion, but the books are 100% true. The characters that you find out, the people that you read about, all true. I'm going to tell you one story that's in one of the books, just to go ahead and tide you guys over until me and Gabriel can go and get our podcast going. So let me get a drink real quick. Very professional. So, the Mexican Park. If you've never heard about it, it's a park that's in the south side of Rockport. And the reason why it was affectionately called that is because the majority of people that lived there were Hispanic. So if you've ever seen any of the podcasts, you've seen me and Gabriel talk about it before. And that will always be home to me and Gabriel. A lot of memories. That park formed who we were. And one of the characters that lived there, I have talked about it in a previous podcast about the first weekend that we moved into the house over there. And our across the street neighbor, Lillian, coming across, and that she had been stabbed several times in the back with a ice pick, and you'd have to listen to that podcast to hear that whole story. I'm not going to go into all that. But this is another story about Lillian, so sit back. I hope that you enjoy this. All right. Lillian was an African-American lady who lived across the street. Very, very poor. No running water. I don't even know if they had electricity. I'm not sure. But when we were about, I want to say about 14 or 15, some of us were out of the park. They had not built the basketball court, so we were just throwing the football around or doing whatever, just being kids, staying out of trouble. Lillian dated a man named Shorty. Now, Shorty was a Hispanic man who was short. Okay. And they got into an argument. And it proceeded to get very loud, a lot of curse words. There had been a lot of drinking going on. It was in the afternoon, probably 2 or 3 in the afternoon or something like that. And Shorty was drinking his beer and Lillian was drinking her wine. And the next thing that we know that happens is that they went inside, and we just knew that they were being loud like how they always were. They were basically harmless. And then Shorty came out and he was bleeding. And he was bleeding all down his back from his head. We didn't know what was going on. He's screaming, Lillian, Lillian, look what you did to my head. I love you, Lillian. And then we see these 2 Cadillacs pull up. And these other African-American guys they pile out of this car. And every other word is mother effer this, mother effer that. Where is he? We're going to kill him and stuff. And we found out later on these were Lillian's brothers. And although she might not have had running water, she might not have had electricity. I know she didn't have running water. She did have a phone. And evidently when they went inside, there was an argument inside, and Shorty had struck her. And remember how the previous story, years and years before, I guess in between those 2 times, she figured, I ain't taking no crap off no guy. So they proceed to come outside, and her brothers, who were driving over there in a fit of rage because somebody had struck their sister, and they're going to beat the crap out of this dude. And Shorty would not have stood a chance. We're talking maybe 5'6", something like that. 150 pounds at the best. And these dudes were much bigger than him. They were grown men. After they saw what was going on, they're like, Lillian, what the hell are you doing? You trying to kill this fool? And she came walking out, and she had a hatchet in her hand. And she had hit Shorty in the back of the head and cleaved a chunk out of his scalp. And he was bleeding all down his back. He was wearing a white t-shirt. And she's yelling at him, I'll kill him. And a lot of cuss words. And the brothers of Lillian went from being protective to being scared that something might happen. Sorry about that. Told you it would go on and off and stuff. They were afraid that they might get arrested, so they all piled back in their cars and took off. And Lillian's standing there with his hatchet, and Shorty's taking his shirt off. Now, remember, we're kids. We're experiencing this. No cops are called. No paramedics are called or anything. Everybody's just watching. And he takes his white shirt off, and he puts it on the back of his head, and he starts walking down the road away from her. And the whole way he's saying, Lillian, I love you. I love you. I would never hurt you, Lillian. How could you do this to me? How could you? And she's got that hatchet. And she's, just like, you come back here and I'll hit you again. I'll kill you, this, that. And we're just like, this sounds like it took a long time, but, it was within minutes of them going in, him coming out, him bleeding, the cars pulling up, pulling in the driveway and stuff, guys jumping out. They see how damaged this man is. And then they pile back in the car and they take off. So although the story's taking a little bit longer, he decides to walk about a good 100 yards down the road. And he's trying to stop the bleeding and stuff. And she's sitting there on the porch drinking her wine, and she's got the hatchet in the other hand. And, we just go back to throwing the football. We just figured Shorty was going to take the curve around the road and walk down to the other side of the neighborhood or something. We had no idea what was going on. Then all of a sudden, he stops at the end of the road and he starts walking back. And we're like, what's he doing? And so he walked all the way back down, all the way back towards Lillian's. I was all like, oh my God. I said, do we need to stay out here? He's going to die. She's going to kill him and finish this job. And the guys that I was with at the park and stuff, I don't remember who was there, honestly. I remember there's about 4 or 5 of us. We were just sitting there in amazement that he's like, Lillian, Lillian. And he starts walking back. She's like, I told you I'd kill you. I told you. And he literally walks all the way back up. And he's all, look what you did to me. Look what you did to me. And she's like, well, you don't hit me. And he's all, well, sweetheart, I'm so sorry and stuff. I'm so sorry. And I'll never do anything like that again. I love you, Lillian. I love you. And she drops the hatchet. And she's all like, do you? Do you really love me? And he's all, I've always loved you, baby. And she walks down. And she was bigger than him. She's like 5'10". And she reaches down. She hugs him. Now, remember, there's blood all down his neck, all down his back. And he's got this sopping. I mean, he was bleeding. Anybody knows anything about a head wound, you bleed a lot. And so, yeah, he's bleeding pretty good there and stuff. And she's all, you really do love me. And he's all, of course I do. I love you so much and stuff. And I was just angry. I didn't know any better. And she gives him a big hug and a kiss. She'll let me take care of this. So she walks him up on the porch and she comes out with another towel to try to stop the bleeding and stuff. Remember, we're still watching this, acting like we're not watching it. There's still no cops called. There's still no paramedics called. None of us left. We're kids. Instead of running in to start something, we figured Shorty started something, Lillian's going to finish it. It was just the neighborhood, just the way that it was. And so as we continued to throw the football, she then came out and she put the other towel on his head, and then she gave him an ice cold beer, which either she had a igloo inside with ice in it, or I never saw lights on. That's why I'm figuring there might not have been electricity, but maybe, I don't know. But so anyways, to make a long story short, she took the towel off, and after the blood had stopped, and it started coagulating, she then took out a needle, and she said she was going to stitch him up. And we were like, there's no internet back then. There was no, if you saw something gross on a movie or something, you're just like, So he sat with his back to the park where we were so that we could see, and she got behind him, and every now and then she would bob or weave when she's doing something. You could see a good laceration on his scalp of about, I don't know, about a good 7 inches. So it looked like she had probably hacked him a couple times in the head and split him wide open, I guess. Maybe it just one hit and it split more. I don't know. I just know that it was really gross. And she's sitting there, and there's no painkiller. There's no antiseptic. There's nothing. Just her with this jaggedy old needle, I guess, and some thread. Like, thread. Not. So she stitched him up. She stitched his head up, and she brought out a bucket of water, and he washed his back and his neck off. And she brought him another beer after that. And then they sat for the rest of the afternoon. And they just drank beer and drank wine. And like nothing happened. And we had literally almost seen a murder take place. For sure, at least an assault. And that was it. I mean, they were a couple again. Like it never happened. That's the neighborhood that me and Gabriel grew up in. You never knew what you were going to find. On any given day, you could see something that you would never believe would ever happen. It wasn't like that every day. Most days were calm, cool, and collected. But on any given day, you could see something like that. I mean, it was just, that's the part. And that's where we came from. So for us to be the guys that we are now, neither one of us have ever done drugs. Neither one of us have ever smoked a cigarette, never mind weed. Gabriel does drink a beer. He never liked it. He always thought the taste tasted bad. Am I going to say I've never drank? No, of course I have. But I haven't drank probably in 23 years or something. I mean, literally not even a sip. It's just, I don't like alcohol. But that is a story, 100% true. Always still 100% true, from the Mexican Park. And I'm hoping that with Gabriel coming home from work tomorrow around 2, that hopefully he'll get his laptop set up and we can go ahead and possibly get a video out to you guys maybe tomorrow night or Saturday. He's off Saturday and Sunday, and I'll have online teaching tomorrow until 3, so we won't be able to do anything till till tomorrow night. But if there's anything that you guys want to talk about, whether you want to guys talk about sports or the coronavirus, or that it's going to be like almost in the 90s here in Corpus, if you want to talk about how Easter's coming up, and we hope that everybody is able to congregate and maybe get together, but that might be a little bit of wishful thinking. We want to talk about how the NBA has been canceled and it's driving me crazy because my Celtics were actually doing all right. We're going to talk about how baseball is not starting. I mean, my son's a senior this year, and his baseball season's been canceled. Now the prom's been canceled. And, if you want to talk about any of those things that you're going through, if you want to talk about what you're doing at home, what are you doing to stay sane? What are you having to do? Are you having to separate yourself from your spouse? Are you having to separate yourself from your parents? Are you spending far too long on the internet? Are you playing way too many video games? Are you napping more? What I see a lot of people doing is saying that they're eating out of boredom. Were you able to get everything at the store that you needed before people were going in there and taking more than they needed? Anything that you guys want to talk about, you got to comment though. Don't text us. There's far too many of you, especially Gabriel's friends that he knows, that they'll text him or they'll go up and talk to him, say, dude, put this on or do this or do this. We want to see it in the comments, all right? So anybody that's interested in any topic, let us know. If not, I'm afraid that we'll bore you. But I'll try to come up and give you another story next time with Gabriel, and I hope that you enjoy this short one. It's only 20 minutes long, so it shouldn't be that long. And all I have to say is peace, be careful, be safe, and stay inside. I know that it's hard, but go outside, get a little bit of sunshine or something like that, but try not to get yourself in trouble with the police or be around a whole bunch of people and stuff. People in Austin are still getting together and swimming, and there's like 1,000 people the other day at one of the swim places, and it's just like some people just don't get it. We've got to separate to make sure the virus stops finally so that everybody can get healthy again and we can stop the spread of it. So I just hope that everybody out there that sees this, that you're all well, that you have enough. Also, if you need something, send us a message. I'm not saying what we can do, but we will try to do something. If you're not in our area, maybe we can contact somebody in your area. If you need toilet paper, if you need water or something like that, and we can get somebody in your area to get that stuff to you. There's no shame in asking for help, all right? How should my head go? I don't know. I'm not used to this stuff. There's no shame in asking for help, all right? So if you need something, let us know. Gabriel will work on his side. I'll work on my side. And it's never shameful to ask for help. My dad taught me that a long time ago. And he was a smart man. Smartest man I ever met. So please be careful. Wash your hands. Enjoy your time with your family, because although they might be getting on your nerves right now, this might be a blessing from God. All right? I hope to hear from you. And next time you'll see me and Gabriel. Peace. Take it easy.